This is actually the set of things that we're going to take to the city. There's the last page of your packet. We've already been engaged with council members, some of whom are interested in some of these ideas and sponsoring. But they're the toolkit that helps some of these other ideas, and maybe ideas we haven't heard yet, come true. The Cultural Tourism Task Force, we feel like we need to take a hard look at are we investing in cultural tourism as much as we should be? And because we have data from other cities that shows that increased cultural tourism increases incomes for artists. The Red River Redevelopment Plan, what we're going to ask for is that the city, similar to how they did the South Shore redevelopment plan recently, that the city set its goals for the Red River area. I was told by the Downtown Austin Alliance that it's one of the few parts of Austin that no one has put forth a plan for, and we have an opportunity to go to the city and have the city say, you know what, this is a cultural zone, and live music is at its root, but other things are there too. And once that's ratified, that drives development in a certain way. The Creative Enterprise Zone development incentives, and all these things kind of fit together, you know, cultural tourism, Red River, and the Creative Enterprise Zone development incentives are packages of incentives either through Code Next or zoning or, you know, tax abatements, or as a bunch of different tools that municipalities use to incentivize certain preferred types of development. And we want to have a community conversation about what are these zones, where are they? Certainly Red River deserves to be one, maybe South Congress, maybe North Loop, maybe East 11th. That's the conversation we want to have. And then the Cultural Asset Rebate Program is something we notice in some other cities, where cities are rebating utility costs, fees, and other such municipal costs to cultural assets or preferred industries. For example, in Brooklyn, if you have a light manufacturing enterprise and you open it in Brooklyn, you get 1/3 off your electricity delivery rates, which is substantial. What can we do here to help the assets that are in place lower their costs because we value them? And you know, the city is engaged in something called cultural asset mapping, and that could be a real starting point to figure out which assets deserve these benefits. And then the tourism pit is a new tool that Dallas initiated in Texas. It's an additional 2% hotel occupancy tax to go towards marketing and incentives for tourism. Austin is actually at 15%. Most of the cities in Texas are at 17%. So if we add a 2% to our hot tax, we'd still be competitive. And this is aside from the venue fund, which is what pays for the convention center and facilities like that. We would like to investigate as a community through this Cultural Tourism Task Force if a tourism pit is right for us and if it can be focused on cultural tourism. And then finally, we propose a 2018 Creative Infrastructure Bond. Maybe to fund some of the ideas you've heard about tonight, maybe to fund ideas we haven't heard about yet. But it's been since 2006 that our city passed a bond to fund cultural and creative facilities. We've been grateful to the people who actually ran that bonds commission and that election. Rebecca from the Austin Film Society, the Zach Scott folks, and a wonderful gentleman named Tom Turkel who was on the bond commission that year. And they have made it plain that this is not only plausible, but, you know, probably doable. It's been 12 years since our city made a concerted investment in creative infrastructure. And at 12 years ago, they did $33 million. You know, we want to start a conversation above that number and urge the city to set up a commission to start looking at projects that deserve this kind of funding. So this is the toolkit that could get all the other ideas you've heard going.